Hi, I'm Heather from booktubes, and today is the best books that I read in July, the top 5 of the 5-star reads. In July, I had 6 5-star reads, which is incredibly low for me, and I'm going to talk about 5 of them, and we're just going to leave the manga off, and that's kind of how I did it. So the first 2 I want to talk about are by the same author. I have Feed and Skin, which is Fangs with Benefits 1 and 2 by Aveda Weiss. These are 2 short novellas with monster smut, and we are getting full-length novels for both of these couples, which I am wildly excited about. Aveda Weiss might be a new favorite author for me. They did this with such excellence. If I love the full-length versions, look out world, because these were incredible. So Feed is co-workers, kind of workplace nemesis, and she cannot stand him, and he is non-binary, and they use the he, they pronouns back and forth really fluidly throughout the scenes, and I thought it was extremely well done. He is a death moth fairy, and she is a succubus, so she needs to feed, and she orders through this app, and he's the one that's sent to her, so it is kind of a consensual meet each other's needs type app. There's a lot of play happening, a lot of BDSM elements, and she has a collar so that she doesn't drain him dry of his life force. And the 2 of them, their tension and their chemistry was off the charts. I cannot wait to read workplace scenes with them in their full-length novel. It was so incredibly good. I just absolutely adored it. There's kind of some humiliation, I feel like, type kink, but very mild, just no, I know you hate me, but you're gonna tell me what you want. And also, even though you hate me, I'm gonna give it to you, and I do it for you, and it was so good. It was so good. I can't wait. I cannot wait for the full length. Cannot wait. I absolutely would reread these. They are just incredible. Incredible. So this whole novella takes place in one night. The night that they, use the service, show up to their door, and bang all night long. And then Skin is longtime partners who have a real mutual respect and affection for each other, but she is a banshee, and she gets the memories and the feelings and stuff of anything that she touches, so it's great for investigating, which is her job, but especially if she were to touch another living being, they stay with her forever, and it's just clamor in the back of her mind, and it's exhausting, and she has to be really careful not to touch too many things. And also, I think it's slowly killing her, if I'm remembering correctly. So she, has the special suit and gloves and all the things. Well, it opens with, an investigation kind of going wrong, and he has to save her, but in saving her, he touches her skin. So now they have this connection. Even though they've been partners for 4 years, they had never touched each other, they had been able to avoid it, but now it's happened. And she finds some desire in his feelings for her. And he's actually really good at shutting down his feelings so it's not overwhelming for her. And also, he's a gargoyle, and also he can make his skin into stone, and also he's huge and she's tiny. And he is so sweet. He's so sweet. He's a very grumpy protector, affectionate marshmallow. He gets really grumpy if she is reckless or put in danger, but he's just very kind and considerate and adoring, and it was so good. So then she's like, well, hey, we touched, I know you have this affection for me. Maybe, I haven't been able to sleep with anybody in forever because my only options are my exes, and I really don't want to do that. What if we... And they do, and it's so good. There's some praise kink in here. There's some, we're gonna take our time and make it fit happening in here. So good. And Aveda Weiss was one of the authors that Hoathon did live shows with, so if you want to go to Who Picked This Book, I will try and remember to link the live show actually in the description. But Who Picked This Book, Nicole had a author live show with Aveda, and it was amazing. Absolutely a delight. Then I have Forbidden Fling, which is Secret Fantasy #1 by Kat Taylor, which is Katie Robert. It is her pen name for erotica. There is no HEA, no happily ever after. They bang, they part ways. And so because of that, she's actually able to explore some more moral things that in order to have that happily ever after, you would kind of have to justify them and reconcile them, and she doesn't have to do that. So that's fun. This is, I think she's like a college graduate or something, but she and her boyfriend are going to the beach house, and her boyfriend brings his frat brothers and his dad, and he has not been staying to her pleasure. He doesn't really care anymore. They are definitely on the brink of breaking up anyways because of distance, and daddy steps in and it's like, well, if you're not getting it from him, I can't just see you suffering. It's wild. It's short. It's so good. It is so fiery, and also like you're just rooting for the characters, and as much as it would have been fun to see them have an HEA, it also works. Like, it works. And I'm somebody who generally really needs that HEA, like for my characters to end happy. Every story growing up where that didn't happen bugged me, but it worked. I'm excited for another installment whenever Katie needs that break from her normally scheduled content. I am ready. I'm prepared. I will read it all. Then I read Magic Triumphs, which is Kate Daniels #10 by Ilona Andrews. This is a urban fantasy series that has a strong romance in it, although it's not super focused on the romance, definitely not as much as most of my books are and what my preference tends to be, but it's so incredibly well done that I really just enjoyed it for its own sake, and it didn't bother me. I would say that the series gets stronger as it progresses, and so your very beginning books are kind of the weakest entries in the series. I would recommend reading the 0.5s. They usually follow side characters, but they add to the overall plot, and also you get to enjoy those side characters. I did that for some of them, and some of them I didn't, and if I do a reread, I will read the 0.5s. For sure. So I would recommend doing that. You follow Kate Daniels, who is a mercenary. She's a middle of the road mercenary on purpose and gets the job done, but doesn't do it too flashy. She's an excellent swordswoman, like some of the best in the world. And she has a romance with Curran, who is the Beast Lord. They are in Atlanta, and there are magic waves and tech waves. During magic waves, especially particularly strong ones, you will have very powerful magical beings manifesting and creating havoc, and usually it's their job to clean it up. And during the tech waves, your magic doesn't work as well, you're not as strong, you're more vulnerable, and it's just a very, very interesting world that they set up, and I just adored the series so much. I absolutely saw the ending coming. I absolutely knew what was going to happen. I knew that was gonna end on a HEA, and I still cried. And I just love the characters. This series really does explore the idea of, even if you're not power hungry, sometimes you need power in order to protect those that you love. And if you are too different or too powerful, people view you as a risk and they don't trust you, even if you would literally die for them. And how much that can suck for you emotionally. And I love seeing Kate and Curran love each other through each and everything that was thrown their way. Even when they weren't 100% sure that the other one would understand, they might get mad, but they were always still going to be there. And I really love that representation of a couple who goes from dating to marriage to kids, you know, many years into their relationship. We're still following in this series, and I loved seeing them love each other through everything that was thrown at them. And lastly, I have A Touch of Stone and Snow, which is The Gathering of Dragons #2 by Milla Vane. This is a fantasy romance series. I think it's extremely well done. I absolutely adored the first book. It is literally my favorite book of the year so far, and the second book was just greatness. I would say that the tropes in the first one are more my preference, so that's why it remains my favorite, but This was absolutely incredibly well done. We have Friends to Lovers Second Chance. She's a soldier who was exiled because she said, hey, this happened, this magical thing happened, these wraiths came and they destroyed my entire company. And the king was like, no, they didn't. You're a liar and a coward. Goodbye. And she was exiled and she is seeking death. Her entire family lives in shame. Like, people won't do business with them, things like that, because she's been exiled. And so she really wants to die in a courageous act in order to clear her name of cowardice so that her family can live comfortably after her death. That is the only thing that is keeping her alive right now. That's the reason why she hasn't committed suicide, is because she wants to go out in a blaze of glory to clear her name. And because of this, she is also struggling with alcoholism, and this world has goddesses and immortals interacting with people, and a goddess comes and gives her a quest and also helps her with her alcohol issue in a magical way. Not that she doesn't suffer or have to do any of the hard work herself, but there's a magical twist to it. And he is the pharaoh prince who was a bastard. He was not welcomed in the country until they needed an heir that was of an adult age. That's kind of how it works. You can't just have a royal family member that is, 7 years old. You also need to have a heir possibility that is closer to adulthood. So because of that, he was brought into the family that he had never been welcomed in before, and everyone still kind of views him especially as a political problem because he doesn't have nice manners and he's not smooth talking and all of the things. He's incredibly smart, incredibly dangerous, but he also has a very specific agenda that he is trying to get done. And she just kind of views him as a traitor because when she was exiled, he didn't stand up for her. And they were promised to each other. They were best friends to lovers. They are both still virgins in this book because they had promised themselves to each other. They'd also told themselves there was no need to rush it. And then she was exiled and there was nothing that he could do. So they have remained true to each other the entire time that they've been gone. They are both still virgins. He's in the jungle seeking an alliance and he stumbles across her. He has a saber-toothed tiger who hates everybody but them and loves them and is magical. And the adoration, the yearning, the mutual just respect and love that they have for each other and the circumstances that kept them apart. It's so sweet. And it's all of that while in a jungle and trying to fight demons and trying to help the coalition who is trying to all band together before the destroyer comes back and kills them all. And the side characters, we have some of the side characters from the first book that show up in this one because they are also part of the coalition. And it's just a fascinating world. I still have the prequel to read, which I am trying to wait a couple months or so before I read because the third book still does not come out until 2022. So I don't really want to be completely done, so I put off reading the sequel, I put off reading the prequel, but just excellent. I love it. It is the adult fantasy romance that my heart wants. It's perfection. So that's it. Those are the top 5 books that I read in July. Highly recommend all of them. Let me know the best book that you read in July / what you're looking forward to reading in August. I would love to hear. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.